First day back on the outdoor bike since Peaks. Feeling good. It's good to be back out. I mean, a lot is Zwifting over the last couple of weeks, but it's good to be back outside. I'm incredibly humbled by the response to my last video. It has been great seeing everybody comment and feedback on their experience of the event. It's just been awesome chatting to you all. The last 2 weeks have been a great opportunity for reflection. So in this video today, I want to share some of my choices and how I might have done them differently, as well as some of the characters and stories from across the day at the Peaks Challenge in 2024.
Hey, back on deck on my fly shit, really on my shit, pay some respect to my mindset, head blowing smoke, catch a contact, niggas really mad they can't stop us, back on the scene, unconscious.
Probably the biggest choice that I made on the day, and the one that I've reflected on the most, has been my choice of gears. I got some advice before the event saying, do you have any bigger gears? You should get a bigger gear. I was a little bit ignorant or bullish and was like, no, I'm going to be fine with racing gears. So I'm running a 52-36 in the front, and I'm running a 30-11 on the back. 30 was not enough, not by any stretch of the imagination. If I were to go back again, I would probably go for a 34 in the back. I know that's easy to get. 36 would be more. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some experimentation and testing here. I think the front was fine, but definitely a few more teeth in the back. In terms of the bike choice and the rims, I kept a real aero profile. I'm a really tall guy. I'm 188 centimeters, which means on the best of days, I've got a lot of drag. I've got a lot of detractors from my aero profile. I didn't think that dropping down to a shallower dish was going to really help. I don't think the weight was going to be a massive difference for me there. So I stuck with the deep 60s, and obviously the Ostro is quite an aero bike in itself. So in between each of my learnings from the day, I want to share a few stories of people or sites or things that I saw on the day that I found quite amusing. This could be like the girl that I pulled up alongside of after Trapyard Gap, who I thought was talking to me, but really she was just talking to herself. Or the dude on the aging Cannondale that sounded like a piece of heavy machinery as it followed me up Mount Hotham. Or the really sweaty guy who I was chatting to on the way up to Wong Gap, who promised me he was a runner and not a cyclist. I'm sure you can relate to a lot of these people from big Fondo events that you've done. But if there are any great characters that you met at Peaks, be sure to let me know in the comments. As many of us battled our way up the back of falls, I made some friends by talking about the different gradients as we ground our way up the hill. The 9% ramps are just, I can't escape. I'll call these people grade checkers. For whatever reason, my Wahoo unit had stopped telling me the gradient that was coming up ahead of us. So I was checking in with certain people as to what we had next. We're in the yellow, we're in the red, how steep is what's coming up ahead. A couple of these people continued to report in with me as we kind of jockeyed backwards and forth as we alternated between walking and riding on the back of falls. Super useful. Thanks guys, I appreciate it. Okay, another big choice was around nutrition. I gave it a little bit of thought before the race, trying to work out what I was going to need. Didn't want to be carrying excess, just kind of wanted to hit the right amount. I ended up going with 5 of these for the race. There's 90 grams of carbs in these. I really like these from Precision Fuel because there's like, it's a big pack, right? Like there's like basically 3 gels in the one pack. In terms of my drink mix, just using the Precision Fuel drink mix, 500ml bottles, got about 30 grams of carbs, 60 in the liter. So for the day, I had the 5 gel packs. I had the 2 bottles filled with drink mix. I also put in 2 Cliff Bars to pick up at the different valet stops. I planned to eat some of the chicken wrap that was available at Dinner Plane, and then I had the cans of Coke and the kind of the extra sugars throughout the day. I think it tallied up to being around about 600 grams of carbs. Now, I've had a fair bit of feedback since the event, people kind of pushing me on that, suggesting that 60 grams was maybe a little bit low.
Some people are even suggesting that I should be going as high as 120 grams per hour. For me, the 60 gram, even that was quite difficult to get in. Probably didn't do enough gut training. Something that reflecting on, I think I probably need to do more. And then probably increase that hourly carb rate from 60 to at least 90. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to 120 anytime soon. Some of my choices I didn't love. That's a lot of gel. Gel is hard to kind of keep putting in time after time, especially in the heat that we're in. I would like to try and get more into drink mix. Maybe looking at some chews or something a little bit more solid to get those carbs in is something that might help as well. Cliff Bars, although they're good bang for buck, are very difficult to eat.
That was absolute chaos. Bikes everywhere, people trying to get water, ripping bags up. Good stuff. Try and get a little bit of this Cliffy in me. Time to hit Hotham.
In terms of liquids for the day, I was aiming for 10 bottles, which equates to about 5 litres. Again, I had the Precision Fuel sodium tablets. I had the 1,000 milligrams per tablet. I was aiming to have 5 of those across the day. So 5 out of my 10 bottles were going to have 1,000 milligrams of sodium in there. I don't think anyone could have anticipated the heat and the impact that that would have on us as athletes, but also on the nutrition plans that we had. I didn't really adapt or change it based on that, and that's something that I probably should have done. That 5,000 milligrams of salt probably could have been a lot higher. Even I was experiencing cramps with that volume. I can't imagine how people went just going on basic electrolyte mix. Okay, so if I had to round it out into 3 things, I would say 1, definitely need more carbs. 2, probably bigger water bottles and putting more carbs into the drink mix. 3, catering the sodium intake based on the conditions. How do you approach this kind of nutrition planning? What was your plan on the day or in a similar event? How did you cater it when the conditions changed?
Okay, so then there was this guy. We were just heading up Hotham. I could see him ahead of me. He was kind of really grinding his way up the hill. As I got a little bit closer to him, I could see that he had the biggest quads I've ever seen. You've got to be a sprinter, right? He was like, yeah, well, climbing's not really my thing, but I can throw down 2,000 watts. So, sprinter? He's like, nah, man, I'm a power lifter. I don't know how you ended up, dude. I'd love to hear about it.
Kit was also a really considered choice for me. For this event, sun protection was something that I knew was going to be fairly critical. I went with the all-day summer jersey. It's lightweight, but it's long-sleeved. A lot of people asked whether I was hot or whether that was the hot option. I did have this in mind, and I did pack a short-sleeve jersey into my dinner plane bag. But by that point in the day, it was too valuable having that protection on my arms and shielding myself from the 41-degree heat. Definitely would wear the long-sleeve summer jersey again.
Now this one's a biggie. You know when you're riding along behind somebody, you kind of have a little look forward, and staring back at you is their butt crack? Bib shorts have got a life cycle. They only last so long, but some people continuously ignore this fact. Now I saw a few of this person at Peaks, but this is not something that's unique to Peaks. I'm fairly certain that you've all seen this in every fondo you've ever done anywhere in the world. What do you do in this situation, right? Are you going to tell the guy in front of you that you can see his butt through his bib shorts? Feels a bit awkward. Fortunately, I've come up with a great solution. I created a little business card just this week as a method of informing people that you can see through their bib shorts. No longer must you suffer the awkwardness of a conversation. Just slip them a business card and hopefully they can get it sorted between now and their next ride. Another good call out is a guy called Daniel. He reached out in the comments of my previous video. There's a brief snippet of him in my wheel on our way up Hotham.
They'll come in handy when we get over the hill.
Oh, the false flat. I'll give you a pull on the false flat.
Sounds like a deal.
I can confirm he did deliver. Sure enough, as soon as we hit that false flat, he blew past and said, "I promised you a pull on the false flat. I'm here to deliver." So he jumped on the front and did a good little pull for the group that we had at the time. I think he said he blew up a little bit after that, but kudos to you, man. Keeping your word. The next one I call the Crampy Dancer. I was slugging a can of Coke at Angler's Rest. Next minute, in blows this guy. As he slows down to dismount, he kicks his leg off the back of the bike. In the middle of dismounting, his leg cramps up, so he then thrusts forward. One foot hits the ground. It's covered in gravel. He slides. He's going left. He's going right. I was sure he was going down, but he manages to pull it together and laughs it off. Turns out he just cramped up really hard in that particular moment. So I slipped him a Precision Hydration sodium tab, 1,000 milligrams of sodium in that one. Maybe a little bit late in the day, but hopefully it helps you out, dude. We all enjoyed the dance moves.
The decision to stay on the mountain was an excellent choice. With all of the preparation work that's necessary, the running around, the getting valley bags, the registrations, I couldn't imagine trying to orchestrate that from being off mountain, especially with all of the road closures that happen on the day of the race. A big shout out to Michelle at Lakeside in Falls Creek. The lodge was wonderful. Your hospitality was great, and you just made things easy in a time of a whole lot of things going on and a lot of other stuff to think about. So thank you. Something I would have done differently is about the starting group. And I've made this mistake before in other events. I need to be more ambitious with the starting group that I join. I need to think more about what I need from the group during the day. I tend to find myself in a position where I'm chasing to find a bunch. I'm really working hard to bridge and to try and find a bunch that I can work with and will work with me. I think maybe starting in a group slightly ahead of where I have been starting. So in the case of peaks, maybe starting in the 8 to 9 hour group rather than the 9 to 10 hour group is going to give me some other riders that I can work with and maybe sit in someone's wheel a little bit more than what I did in this race. Okay, so the last story I have to share for the day is just about all of the amazing women that I saw out on the course during the day. In the briefing, they said that they had 10% of the 2,000 riders that were women this year, which is so awesome to see. But the point that I want to call out is just how strong all of the women were on the course during the day. They weren't at the back of bunches, they were the ones dragging bunches. So kudos to you ladies. It's so inspiring, especially for my two little girls.
I'm not little.
So that's it. Those are the learnings and the choices that I made and maybe how I would do them different next time. I hope you enjoyed some of the stories from my day. I'd love to hear about some of the stories from your day. That's it from me. Until next time, see ya!
Bye!
In my dick till she fall in the coma, the carditis. I really got it off the muscle, now they wanna tussle. Pussy niggas wanna fight us. Damn.